Hey. Long time no talk. Work has been insanely busy because it's spring and Mother's Day. Um, you know. So I wanted to take this time, or today, to, kind of tell you, like, part 2 of the Sally saga. And I really would call it a saga because it was a whole to-do, and it was just a very bad experience for me. I'm probably going to name the title of this video, My Guatemalan Heartbreak. It's intense. It's really, really intense. So, stay tuned. But basically what happened was the Sally's that I was working in, it was in a strip mall. Okay, it's like, I'm trying to think. It's weird. You go up a hill and then there's a Walmart, and then you can turn right into Walmart, or you can keep going straight, and then there's another, there's that ShopRite. That's like the one everybody goes to if you live in town. And then there's a strip mall that like is attached to the ShopRite. So it was a pizzeria, and then next to the pizzeria was a dollar store, but now it's a mattress store. Mattress Firm, I think. No, it was, okay, no. It's the pizzeria, Frank's, and then Mattress Firm bought Sleepy's. It was the dollar store, like, oh my god, I'm 25, probably like 20 years ago. It was a dollar store, and then they went out of business, and then Sleepy's took over, and then Mattress Firm, I think, bought Sleepy's. So now, in any event, it's a mattress store, and then next to the mattress store, I think, is an eyeglass place, and then I think is Sally's. So when I was working there, I would go and get pizza. You know, that's what you do when you work in a strip mall. You know, you find the closest, like, food place to you, and they get to know you. They know that you work there and you're gonna be a regular because you have, what, like 15 minutes, maybe if that, to get down a couple bites of pizza, you know, and then go back to work. If you work retail, low retail, like I did. But yes, there is a ShopRite literally a couple stores down, so I would, you know, get like like Cheez-It crackers, or like, I don't know, like fruit, you know, that's already like pre-cut up. And then, you know, I would just buy a box and then we would all share it, but, it was like, not that we were roommates because we weren't, we went home separately to our own houses, but we were actually like joking about that. We're like, oh, we should put a cot back here because why bother, like, going home. But like they would bring stuff from, like, you know, their neck of the woods in PA. So anyway, yeah. So what happened was, I think it was when I first started, I went over to the pizzeria and I found this incredibly good-looking man. I'm not Spanish, I'm 3/4 Italian and Slovak. I'm actually all European, but because all my lovers and whatnot, or I should say ex-lovers, because we have no affiliation with each other now, but, my ex-lovers are all Hispanic. Unfortunately, they're illegal. I'll put a disclaimer here right now. I'm not trying to be harsh or racist or anything. This is the truth. This is my truth. This is my story, and this is my experience. So what happened, like, where I live, there's a majority of it, like, that's, I would say, 70 to, like, maybe 80, maybe 85. The ratio is high, I will say. That's basically all it is here, where I live. Yes, there are white, rich people, but, again, the majority of it is also illegal immigrants, and because I never felt accepted by my own community, by the people I went to school with, because I got bullied because I was different, because I still am the poor girl, you know, that lives on the highway. I decided to date outside my race. I always, you know, just had a thing for them. I was crushing on the Mexican boy in school. Playing cat and mouse for years. That got old quickly. And then he decides to dip and get pissed when I don't want to fuck him. Because, number one, of the time restraint. And number two, I didn't feel it, you know. I thought when I was in, like, middle school I was gonna have a family with this kid, but when I actually decided to, like, chill with him, I was like, it just feels like we're friends. Like, it doesn't feel like, oh, baby, come here and make out with me. Like, no. Anyway, so we're going back, like, 2 years now. 2016 this happened, and, I remember because it was right when my brother got married, and, yeah. I don't know why I stopped. I thought I was going to say more, but I didn't. So in the culture of Spanish, we call it gringos, which is, or gringa, which is the female and male version of, like, a light-skinned Hispanic. And he was tan, but he was light-skinned, and he was from Guatemala, spoke maybe 1 or 2 words of English, had a very heavy accent. I can't even say that because he spoke, like, 1 or 2 words, because he was straight off the boat from Guatemala. Okay, so what happened was, I don't know, out of everybody else, I, like, just gave him, like, the seductive, like, flirty eye, like I'm doing right now. And, so after a couple times, I didn't get his number right away. After a couple times when it was, like, you know, almost no people, and it was slow, I spoke to him in Spanish. I was like, ¿Tu tengo teléfono? Meaning, do you have a phone? And he goes, sí. And I said, yo quiero su nombre, which means I want your name and number. Número. Get them confused. So he told me it in Spanish, and I texted him, and it was the number. What happens with me in numbers in Spanish is I had to think about it, because he was telling me it, and it took a while for my brain to process which numbers he was saying. And so I texted him. I said, you know, again, all in Spanish. I was like, again, I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I do speak Spanish, like, a little bit. And it's I can say it's more than the average person. I guess enough to get a lover. I can't even call it a boyfriend, because I think a boyfriend is somebody that lasts more than a couple, like, I'm trying to think. More than 6 months, maybe. I don't know. I'll tell you that. I'll get into all that. But, okay, no. A boyfriend is somebody that goes out and does stuff with you and spends time with you. But again, I'll get into all that. But, it was we really only saw each other very seldomly. You know, it was at work when we went to get pizza. It was after work. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm coming over. But the thing is, here's where the what do you call it? The rough edges come in. I don't know. I'm thinking of, like, when there's an earthquake and the 2 plates, like, move. I don't know what that's called, but here's where the I don't know, the problem came in, I'll say. The pizzeria closed at 11 p.m. and we closed, I think, at 8, or maybe like 7. So I would have to, and it was like 15 minutes for me. So by the time I got home, I would have to wait for him to get home. You know, and because it was Sally's Beauty, I was pretty much already ready. I just had to, like, you know, freshen up or whatever. And I would say, okay, I'm coming over. And the thing is, because it was 11 o'clock at night, and I had work the next morning. I was working 2 jobs. The family business and, you know, Sally's. And it was just, the timing just was so bad. I can't say this enough. Like, you know, we'd only have like 2 or 3 hours together, you know. And he would always, like, not fight it, but because I guess at that time he really enjoyed spending time with me. He's like, no, bebita, I don't want you to go. Which means, no, baby girl, I don't want you to leave. And I fought so hard. I was like, listen, like, you know, I work 2 jobs, you know, I'm tired, you know, I don't want to get my ass kicked by my mama. And he was like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow, I'll text you. And that was basically it. We didn't, like, go to the mall together. Keep in mind, he lived right in town, didn't drive, so he could walk to work, or maybe one of his coworkers or his boss, like, drove him. Now, there is a little bit of there's a traffic light, and then, like, you know, so, yes, you can walk, and I see people walking up and down all the time, but I would say it's probably safer to drive. Anyway, now that I look back on it, he was using me. He was using me for a ride.